A very good morning to you. You're listening to Flow FM 92.7, your Go With The Flow radio station. Today, Friday, the 9th of May 2025. Welcome to the Headline News Analysis. It is a platform that gives you the opportunity to have your say, to discuss, debate, and talk about all trending national headlines this morning. Maybe from the ones we brought to you at 7 o'clock on Headline News, or maybe you're flipping through the pages of the national newspaper and then you want to react to any of the stories, or you want to pass comment on any of the trending national headline, you're absolutely free to do that. And how do you do that? It's simply by giving us a call on 0807 777 9927. 0807 777 9927. And simply tell us your name, where you're calling from, and you can go straight to the point. Remember, you have 60 seconds, 1 minute to make your comment so we can accommodate as many comments as possible. But please remember to keep it very, very civil, and let's not insult anybody with our comments. You're absolutely free to criticize, but we'll appreciate it if those criticisms are constructive. At least it puts us to understand the situation of things and prefer solution to some of the challenges we faced as a country and as a people. 0807 777 9927. My name is Adeyemi.
And I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And do remember that we're streaming as well on YouTube.
And on Facebook at Flow FM 927. So you can get on any of these platforms and get in on the live action happening in the studio right now. We came from a conversation yesterday on shadow government with we had a conversation on it, and then we said we're going to pick it up from there. But we're going to leave that and then get into the conversations that we have for this morning. We have this one where the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, filed a suit at the Federal High Court in Abuja, asking it to compel, suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan to delete its satirical apology video that she posted on social media. And it was shared on April 27th with Akpoti-Uduaghan mockingly apologizing for rejecting Akpabio's alleged advances, saying that, she's guilty of maintaining dignity and self-respect. And then Akpabio's legal team claims that the post violated a judge's directive and is demanding its removal from all platforms, along with a written apology published into national dailies.
Well, if you want to pass comments on that story, please give us a call on 0807 777 9927. Well, the question that comes to mind is it that the Senator Natasha team is not aware that there is a court directive or a judge's directive. That maybe she cannot post. So what does that mean? Is it that she cannot post certain things, about
concerning
the situation with her and the Senate President and all of these things? Well, if you want to react to that, do give us a call on 0807 777 9927. That's one big headline this morning. Another big headline is the Senate President still on him. This time taking a swipe at the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and says he should fix his small party before eyeing the Aso Rock. And that's coming from Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who is firing back at the Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi over his recent comments and remarks that the labor of our heroes past is all in vain. Now, while reacting, the Senate President, did say that, that is not so good from, former presidential candidate Peter Obi, and that he should fix his small party before aspiring to lead Nigeria. Akpabio added that anyone unable to manage a political party cannot claim the moral authority to govern a complex nation like Nigeria. Now, his comment is coming off of the tension within the Labour Party and the public reactions to Obi's critical statement on national leadership and legacy. And a lot of people have been saying that, the former presidential candidate has been very, very quiet as to, the internal crisis rocking his party.
Labour Party. And so we have Nicholas in the studio with us now. How are you doing this morning, Nicholas?
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Well, I'm doing not too badly.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's your trip down here?
Wow, it was pretty rough this morning. I would just wonder why. Maybe it's the last, because of the last day of the week.
Okay.
So there was a bit of a frenzy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome. We have picked up two headlines and talked about it. The number you're going to call is 0807 777 9927. And it's on the Senate President, Akpabio, talking about asking the Federal High Court to compel Senator Natasha to delete the satirical apology video that she posted on social media on April 27, where she was mockingly apologizing for rejecting his advances. Apparently, Akpabio's legal team is claiming that the post violated a judge's directive and is demanding its removal from all platforms. In the same breath, we also have the Senate president mocking or saying to Peter Obi that he should fix his small party before eyeing Aso Rock, where Peter Obi made a statement, the labor of our heroes past is all in vain.
Well, as to the first one, that one is still a legal matter, asking her to delete, a satirical post. But you see, I things like that, I tend to think more of, being, a gadfly kind of, I have this gadfly kind of mentality that people must be allowed to, say their bit. And I think, express themselves. And I think, that particular aspect, what Natasha had tried to do there is what you have the court jesters in those days do. They use satire, they make jest of things to bring out the truth, in situations that are awkward. And, I don't really see how that is actionable, really, if you ask me, because I see at the end of the day, you're just going to make a mockery of yourself if you decide to go, pursue that line. But on the other hand, the other issue that, the comment by the Senate president, on Peter Obi.
Yes.
Well, you see, sometimes, when people make comments about people managing a party and things like that, whoever is making that comment should first of all take stock of who his own personal, that is himself. You understand? Akpabio, achieved everything he became before becoming a senator, a Senate president under PDP. He left PDP under a very cloudy circumstance. You understand? And the question of what is happening in Labour Party is very clear. You understand? And the Labour Party is not the only party, that is facing that kind of, situation. Even PDP itself, that is the major, political, that major opposition party is equally facing that same, problem. Trying to say that, that his inability to manage a party in Nigeria disqualifies him from being a president, then maybe you should look at the itinerary of President Muhammadu Buhari himself. President Muhammadu Buhari started from APP, that later became ANPP. Then he formed CPC, which coalesced and became, with other parties to become that is the APC. So he's not talking about anything new. You understand? But of course, it is expected of him, being in the ruling party and an opposition party saying something, he's expected to say the kind of things he has said. But on the merit of it, when you look at it, I don't see any point there, really. Okay,
talking about opposition and then ruling party. Yesterday, we were talking about shadow government, where Professor Patutomi, inaugurated a shadow government under the Big Tent coalition, where he's drawing members from various opposition parties. And we left the conversation hanging yesterday, and we said we're going to continue on that.
Like I said, I was going to do a lot of research on that, and for whoever is listening, and this is what I have, as an explanation to what a shadow party is. You see, the explanation I got from my research shows that a shadow government is usually practiced in a democracy. It's a normal practice in a democracy. It typically refers to a group formed by a main opposition party to monitor and challenge the policies of the ruling government. It is especially common in parliamentary systems, such as in the United Kingdom, Australia, or Canada. Now, here is how it works. The shadow cabinet mirrors the actual government cabinet. Each member of the shadow government is assigned to specific areas like health, education, finance, and acts as a shadow minister to scrutinize and offer alternatives to the policies of the corresponding government minister. Their purpose is to hold the government accountable and to present themselves as a government in waiting, ready to take over if they win the next election. This is different from a conspiracy theory uses of the term, which refer to a secret or unofficial control of government. something entirely unrelated in this context. So that is what a shadow government means. So there is nothing illegal, there is nothing clandestine about it.
But again, you from what you read out, you said now you say it is usually practiced in the parliamentary system of government, but Nigeria is not.
No. You see, when they say something is usually practiced, because it is a tradition there, and it allows for a shadow government, because maybe people don't understand what parliamentary system means. Parliamentary system means that you elect like the National Assembly, for instance, all you do is elect people into the National Assembly. There they are going to form a government. They will now choose a prime minister. The leading party will choose a prime minister from within the assembly. So now within that same assembly, he chooses his cabinet members. You understand? So now if you are in the opposition, then you can decide that we have a shadow. But you see, you have that same kind of practice. Like, in fact, some of the extensive reading I did on it, you have such kind of things even in the United States of America that practice presidential. People monitor. You have people within the opposition that will watch what you are doing. You understand? So now, like I said, what we are doing in Nigeria, is democracy, and democracy allows for opposition. You understand? And the thing is very clear that it is not a way of trying to seize government. It is only trying to tell you that we have a better alternative. In the next election, we are going to compete.
And shouldn't that be what the opposition, party should be doing?
That is what they should be doing. In fact, APC did it in ahead of 2015. They formed it. They created a shadow government. You understand? So, in fact, it was one of those things that I missed out, picking, because I wanted to pick a particular, report, because I was in Abuja then when it happened. You understand? They had a meeting and they said they were going to create a shadow government to monitor the government of the day. So it's part of opposition.
Was it created?
Oh yeah, of course.
Now that we agree that it is for opposition leader, what is then the place of Professor Patutomi, who has been very, very vocal, criticizing past administrations as well too? Again, I think it took a shot at the presidency at some point.
You see, there is one other. Maybe I need to add too. You see, like I said yesterday, the office of the citizen of Nigeria is the biggest office. A lot of people don't know, but you see, when you live in a climate where participatory democracy, multi-party democracy is a bit alien, we kind of mimic without actually doing what we're supposed to do. You have attempts at stripping the average citizen of the right to do what he's supposed to do. What opposition has, what Patutomi has simply done is within his right as a senior citizen, a statesman, and somebody who has contributed a great deal in terms of democracy and the rest of them, to hold government accountable, to ask questions. That is what he has done. You understand? So every other, in fact, I can wake up tomorrow and decide that, okay, look, I've had enough of journalism. Let me go into, partisan politics. By way of doing is that I'm going to form some cabinet. You watch this one, you watch that one. Then we come and tell the public that, okay, instead of this policy, why can't government look at it from this angle? You understand? It is within the right of every citizen to do that. And we must understand that. And you see, we as citizens must not be part of the people who will be, when somebody makes an opposition, we listen very carefully. Not to shout that person down, but listen and make constructive. If there is anything wrong with it, we counter it with facts.
All right, 0807 777 9927, and that's the number to call if you want to react to any of this story this morning and it's catching your attention. Please call us on 0807 777 9927. Let's get to the phone line.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Danielle.
It is Danielle. Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Mr. Davis calling from Shao.
Mr. Davis, please go ahead.
Yes, I can Mr. Nicholas very well. I've done my own research too. It is the same with what he has just said. But the question I'm asking is this: is this a Nigeria confusion? You see, when you talk of opposition, it's very different from this shadow government. In what government is what I am trying to go against. I've been a key follower of US democracy for long. I've never heard anybody using that language of shadow government in the US. We have opposition and not shadow government. It's It's normally, apart from where they are practicing parliamentary system of government, if any other place in this world, even in Germany, they don't practice this sort of shadow government. I'm not saying people are not, people do not be in an opposition party. I'm not saying everything the government does is okay. Yesterday I said it. I voted for Peter Obi, and I didn't regret my action because I was highly convinced at that time that it was in front of our Eastern brothers to become a Nigerian president. I'm not against anybody, any party, because I'm not a politician. I'm a political analyst. Thank you.
All right, thank you a lot.
If I may, please, maybe you didn't take note of the last part of what I read out. Let me say it again. This shadow government is different from conspiracy theory uses of the term, which refer to a secret or unofficial control of government. Mm-hmm. Something entirely unrelated to the context of what we are discussing. But I understand. You see, the use of government, we need to be very careful about certain, the way we interpret the usage of words, to mean, okay.
Something, okay, let's pick this call. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Please, could you turn down the volume of your radio set, please?
Yeah, my name is Shitta from Zongo.
Shitta from Zongo, please go ahead.
On the shallow government issue, where the more we live, the more we learn. So apart from Mr. Nicola saying this morning that even if it did, when they were coming on board, maybe it was not obvious. Maybe they did not, put it the way party told me, put it. Mm-hmm. Maybe that is why we were not discussing about it that time. So that aside, what Senate President said about the Labour Party, it's nothing but just a political jam, as they call it, because whenever the loophole is created, whether you like it or not, the politician will just take advantage of it. And without any bias, one can say in the three major parties presently, there are crises. But what is missing in PDP and Labour Party is that there is no crisis manager. Because you can't take it away from Tinubu. Tinubu is a crisis manager. Even sometimes they will have bigger issues that you'll be thinking about how they are going to go about it. But silently, you will just see that thing just, goes. Look at what happened in Lagos State. When Mudashiru was removed, everybody was thinking maybe it's a 2027, this, that. But all of a sudden, the air was cleared. So I think for the two parties that are opposition now, I think somebody that is what I call a price manager must be there, especially for Labour Party. So thank you. That's my comment this morning.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shitta.
Mr. Shitta, thank you very much for your contribution. You see, there is nothing wrong with being biased. Let me first and foremost clarify that. In fact, it's utterly impossible not to be biased. You understand? It's a human thing. So, what we try to do is to be balanced in whatever we say. Now, you see, you have just given a recent instance, and that has always been our problem. That we don't do a kind of we don't do what we call a diachronic, a diachronic look at things. That is, look at things
from different sides
from the origin.
Sorry to bother you again, Nicholas. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Adeyemi. I'm calling from Adedayo.
All right, Timlane, please go ahead with your comment.
Thank you. Mr. Nick, good morning.
Good morning, please.
I think we need political education. Because what we just said, that it sounds strange to some people. The example you gave was very apt. When APC was formed and the now president had that shadow government, we saw what they did. Shadow government does not mean conspiracy theory. It simply means capable people. Hello?
Yeah, please go on.
Hello?
Yes,
go ahead.
Okay. It simply means capable people showing the land to the city government. This is how it should be done. A classical example is that of Israel. In their effect, you will find that the members of the opposition there, you will find out that sometimes they are the one ruling. Because they'll be pointing to the sitting prime minister. This is the way you should go. So there's nothing wrong with this. Even OBJ himself testified in one of his books that if you're looking for a politician, go to Buddhism. So as at now, as today, we don't have opposition in Nigeria because they are all, what would I call it, maybe third level. You don't have, they don't know what they are doing. They just keep on making noise. What they're supposed to say, they'll be saying it. In fact, but during the time, you see like Mohammed, for example, by that time, that's also information. When he was there, every morning Nigeria woke up and he'll be telling us with gossip, this is what is happening, this is what is happening. And everybody was alert, okay, this government is not doing well really. But today now, they are just carried drug, it's in the court. This is what they are all doing. And as for Professor Patu told me, as you rightly said, he is a first-class citizen, a statesman to the core. He has paid his dues. And I know the role he played when the PC was formed. I know the role he played. He stood with them till today. So if today now, a man that has started to lead this country, if today he's saying something, I think it's worth listening to. So shadow government is real. Does not mean conspiracy theory. It happens even in family. When a Olori Ebi is living and he's not doing well, you'll find some members there in the family that will be telling Baba, you that the way we are going is not good. And the other guy will listen to it, okay, it's like this young boy, that this young lady know what he's doing. So me, I agree with you. For those who doesn't understand maybe the issue of semantics, shadow government does not mean conspiracy theory. It does not mean some cabals that are trying to, no. When we see shadow government, it's real, it is democracy too, and it is actually practiced in United Kingdom. And it exists everywhere. In Israel, it is what is happening.
All right.
Netanyahu is still going to court now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What I was saying was that he talked about the recent management of party issues in APC, and I'm saying that is not the first. PDP in those days used to be known for its crisis management mechanism. You understand? You see, that is what I keep on advising Nigerians to be. See, do a holistic appraisal of situation. Don't just take it from the synchronic point of view. What is just happening now? Look at it from across the years, so you are not what is attracting them is the power. At the moment the party has the power, people want to mend fences easily so that they can get but when you are in opposition it's more difficult. And don't forget what the former president Goodluck Jonathan said recently about that there is this move that like it's more or less like they are orchestrating a one-party system. And don't forget, El-Rufai did say certainly that those crises, all those parties are being engineered, by the ruling party. So we shouldn't ignore some of those things in, when we take on issues of, crisis money, crisis in political parties, party one or party two.
All right. Lastly on this, and to just round off on the conversation on shadow government, you said this happened in 2015. APC did a shadow government as well.
Yeah.
Do you think this time around with Professor Patu doing this, it will actually pan out?
Well, you see, the thing is, politics is like biscuit. When you split it, you don't know exact line it's going to fall into. So, he's just a shot in the dark, to see what will come out of it.
Okay.
What he is trying to do is to give more voice, alternate voice, to governance issues. And this is welcomed in a democracy.
All right. Well,
let's move on to a totally different
conversation.
But I think it's a global conversation,
and it's
of course
important.
It's worth talking about as well too. Well, the late Pope Francis, passed on, of course, giving way for, the coming together of, cardinals around the world to go into the conclave and elect a new pope. And it's tradition at the Sixtine Chapel. And tradition is if there's a black smoke, there is no pope elected. And of course, so once you can billow a white smoke, then you have a pope elected. And of course, we do have a pope. Even before he was announced, people who were there at the venue were shouting "Villa El Papa," that's long live the Pope. Obviously, anticipating the election of a new Pope. Robert Francis, Provost, 69 years of age, was eventually elected the Pope. He becomes the 267th occupant of the throne of St. Peter, and will be known as Leo the 14th.
Leo the 14th.
So we have a new Pope.
Yeah, we have a new Pope.
Habemus Papam.
I was reading his background. He's a Peruvian American Pope. He did a lot of his work in Latin America. And, I looked at, I tried to get his leaning. Where does he normally lean? I think, from what I've gathered, he's more of, he tends to be a follower of Francis.
In a way.
The
late Pope Francis.
They
share similar views.
They share similar views, but he's more of a conservative bent. You understand? And he's going to be, he's going to lean strongly on family values. You understand? And again, there is a bit of a controversy. You recall that before he was, he was elected as Pope, there was this trending matter, where Trump was, a video was pictured wearing in a Pope's, regalia, and he commented about it that his wife showed him, said, look at this. And he said, oh, well, that's cute, and voila, you have an American Pope
for the very first
time. For the first time, so it's led a lot of people to start making speculations, as to whether the Americans had an influence, the American government had an influence in that. But you see, there is something you need to understand about the Catholic. The Catholic organization is one of the most organized, ultra-conservative body in the world. You understand? It's it works within the shadows. So the way they do their things, very few people know. But when they come out with a decision, it is very, very far-reaching. I think, and there is a lot of force attached to that Pope. I think he's one of the youngest we've had in recent times.
69 years old.
69 years old. So you are talking of, biologically speaking, a longevity. You understand? So the thing is that, there is going to be a lot of talking in the weeks ahead. You see a lot of people looking at his past. They are going to look at his philosophies and the policies he is going to be initiating in the days ahead. But I know that he's going to lean strongly on clerics going back to their traditional roles of being clerics. Because if there is any pointer, if there is any indication as to where the man is going to go, this is what I have seen clearly from his background that I have read about. But of course, clerics at that level are very, very secretive. They don't go about announcing what they are going to do and things like that. They are not very visible media-wise. Okay,
but I'm going to ask this, and then we'll just round off on that this morning, and then we can pick it up again on Monday. With the global conversation on, LGBTQ community and, climate change, how much of an influence do you think you will have concerning conversations like this?
And they're knowing fully well the stance of the United States president
on it,
on gay rights.
I strongly believe that, he's going to be more of a very conservative person
concerning this.
Yeah. Because look, let us face the fact. You see, what you're seeing happening in America is a very strong pushback against the woke culture. That is what is happening. I think wokeism, became arbitrary. Let us be very factual about it.
So do you think with the emergence of the Pope Leo the 14th, do you think President Trump is on his way of reshaping the culture of America and getting them away from that wokeness?
It's going to be a tough call because you see, America. There is something about America.
Now this time it doesn't only affect America, but
the entire
globally.
World.
Yeah, exactly. You see, America is trying to push back strongly, against what appears to be a tyrannism of wokeism. You understand? So, and he's going to need every help he can get. If it means from a very conservative, global institution like the Catholic body. You understand? So there is a likelihood that you might see that, but again, one can't really say because. Our
time is fast spent. We see that there are calls coming in, but we're unable to take any more calls
but
at this time.
There's a whole lot to talk about all of these things, and then the appearance of the emergence of President Pope in the Pope regalia again. To a lot of people that have signaled just maybe it whips the question: did President Trump knew there was going to be an American Pope? Well, we'll leave the conversation there and leave us to also speculate, and we'll pick it up on Monday. Thank you for joining us, and that's a good conversation for the whole week. Thank you, Nicholas, for making it such. The views expressed is not in any way the position of Flu FM 92.7. No matter how divergent our views have been the past, days of the week, at least it doesn't divide us. It should not divide us, but put us in a better position to understand the situation of things and move ahead as a people and as a country. I am Dayo Adeyemi.
I'm Danielle. Shitta-Bey. Join Have Your Say by 10 o'clock.
And then we'll be hosting the Federal Commissioner and the Public Complaint Commission, who will be joining us live at 10 o'clock on Have Your Say. Please plan to listen and join the conversation. Good morning.
Vibes are right, and we are flowing past midnight. You ready to chill? Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp, just a tap away. Flow FM 92.7, your go with the flow radio station.